Hey, happy Cinco de Mayo, guys. A little belated and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be making tacos de lengua. It's my favorite way to eat tacos. This, if you didn't know, lengua is Spanish for tongue. And in this case, it's going to be elk, deer, and pronghorn tongues. You may think that sounds gross, but I guarantee you, if you try this, it's going to be your favorite Mexican dish, probably for the rest of your life. In fact, my son loves it, and I might even try to convince his picky friend Sid to have some tonight. So we'll see how it goes. Stick around if you want to see that reaction and also find out how to make them. So it's actually quite simple. We have all the ingredients here. We're gonna have 1 onion. We're gonna use 4 cloves of garlic, a jalapeno pepper. I'm gonna slice that in half and take the seeds out. I've got a couple tablespoons of oregano, some bay leaves, about a teaspoon of salt and peppercorns as well. I'm gonna cut the stems off the cilantro because that's where a lot of the flavor comes from and it makes it easy to cook without getting the leaves on everything. And I have a pint of condensed bone broth that I boiled from the last elk that I shot. Now, one of the greatest things about hunting is that if you're like me, you're taking everything nose to tail, and that includes the tongues. So here we have 1 elk tongue, we have elk cheeks, we have 3 deer tongues, and a pronghorn tongue. So it takes quite a bit more than if you just, that's probably equivalent to 1 beef tongue. They're just smaller animals. Some of the bulls I've shot have a tongue that's big enough to just make 1 batch on its own. But that was a cow elk, so it's a little smaller than a bull. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get this going, and we'll be eating tacos in no time. Got that full of the veggies. Gonna go ahead and pour my bone stock in there, and get these spices in, and the salt and pepper. Let's get that fired up. Go. And we're just gonna put enough water in there to just barely cover that tongue. I'm gonna shove those onions down a little further, and I'll keep extra water on hand to refill as needed. This is gonna come to a light simmer, and then I'm gonna just turn the heat down and let it simmer with the lid on for 4 to 6 hours until it feels like the skin of the tongue comes off easily. All right, so we didn't end up having them last night because at 6,000 feet, it takes a little longer to cook these than at sea level. We took about 6 hours. So we did that, and then we cooled them off in the fridge, and then I just warmed them up enough today to be able to peel this easily. It should come off pretty easily, the skin, you see? And you're just gonna wanna throw that skin out. Go ahead and peel them all off. And then what we're gonna do is pull it with a fork so it has that kind of like a pulled pork texture, and I'll show you that in just a second. All right, now that they're all peeled, we're gonna go ahead and just take a fork and we're just gonna pull it like this, just like it was pulled pork, and it's gonna make that sort of pulled tongue, pulled tongue texture. And we'll do that to all of them, and then we're gonna saute it in a minute. Okay, I like to get a good sear on my lengua also, and it also heats it up. So I've got some heat in here, some extra high heat in my Dutch oven. Go ahead and get that brown a little bit. Okay, so you can kind of see the meat starting to brown, and I can smell it, and I don't want to burn it. So that's right about when I'm ready to put the broth in. Take it out of this Ziploc bag. We're going to save what we don't use here, because we can use this to flavor all kinds of good stuff in the future. And we're just going to let that sort of reduce a little bit. I'll throw a little bit of paprika in there. I think it needs a little bit more of a dynamic spice profile beyond just jalapeno, my just personal preference. And I'm gonna go ahead and add some salt too, because I did taste it, and it was very lightly salted. I like it. I like stuff a little salty, not gonna lie. Okay, a little taste test. Oh yeah, that is so good. Okay, you can see it reduced down. And we're gonna go ahead and get those tacos, tortillas warmed up, and get ready to serve. Okay, there we go. We're gonna garnish with some onions and some cilantro. And then I'll throw some avocados in there too. Let's do that. Yeah. All right, let's see what he thinks.
That's so
good. Wow, we just put down probably at least 2 pounds of meat. Well, I hope you guys liked that one, and in case you were ever wondering, like some people say when I tell them I hunt, do you eat the animal? Of course I eat the animal. I eat the whole animal. And everyone I know does too, unless there's a part like the tongue that they didn't even think about, which I bet you most of those guys are probably gonna start eating tongues now that they see how good it can be. And I hope you take a chance at that too. You can go to the store and buy a beef tongue if you're not a hunter and make it yourself. Anyway, please like, share, subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments, or if you make it yourself and you want to share your results, please leave them in the comments below, and thanks for tuning in.